This is a class that's required in our MDiv program, required of most of the MA programs at Talbot. So we get most every Talbot student, not quite all of them, but most every Talbot student coming through takes this course. We spend the last 3 weeks of the semester on the intersection of faith, work, and economics. And here's basically how we do. We've got about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks that we spend on that. The first week we go into great detail on a theology of work and vocation. That's where we try and attack the hierarchy of callings that is so prevalent among seminary students, at least in our context. We have a fairly high percentage of our students who are Asian, for whom that hierarchy is particularly pronounced. So we spend quite a bit of time on a theology of work and vocation. Then a second week is on the intersection of theology and economics. And we use a series of video clips from a ABC News presentation that John Stossel did a few years ago entitled Greed. It's a very provocative piece. It's all available on YouTube. And there's 3 or 4 segments of that we watch on that. Basically, it's interacting with the idea that greed is the basis for the market system, and therefore if greed is a vice, then there's something wrong with this picture that suggests that something so clearly a vice, such as greed, is the foundation for our economic system. And Stossel provides some good interaction with that. We provide some critique of that too. And we use that as a jumping off place to touch on the intersection of theology and economics, and what do things like human beings being made in the image of God, the dominion mandate, God as a creator, what do those things imply for our view of economics? And then a third area that we look at has to do with ethics in the workplace. And it's an attempt to give the next generation of pastors a sense of what the business, professional, and workplace folks in their ministries deal with on a day in and day out basis. And so we give them it's a quick sort of survey of the field in ethics in the workplace. We try to deal with some fundamental questions about the connection between good ethics and good business, and the compartmentalization of life that is so, I think, a very common way of dealing with ethical tensions in the workplace. So those 3 weeks are really the foundation of what we try and do on this. Usually it's been very well received in the past. For a lot of our students, the idea of a theology of work and calling and vocation is not something that they've thought a lot about. And the intersection of faith and economics is something that hardly anybody has given thought to. We found we're a little better off if we use the term human flourishing instead of economics. But getting the theological foundation laid for what in a Christian worldview constitutes human flourishing is a really good discussion with our students. And I think it's good for them to recognize that there's more to someone's spiritual growth and to their flourishing than just having their relationship to God right. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I think we've got a pretty good way of connecting this in a way it's not overkill, but it's a good shot that our students get, and we think it's a helpful beginning for them. So thank you for the chance to talk a little bit about this. Hopefully some of the things that you take from the syllabus might be helpful in your context.